Hello, friends. The 21st of September. This is video is the 22nd swatting in 177 days. And I was about to take a nap 20 minutes ago, and Deputy Gonzalez asked me if everything's okay. And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, okay, great. Well, I'll be out there in about an hour. There's no reason for her to come out here. If somebody's calling saying, I don't know why they're coming out, this is really an invasion of my privacy. Like 22 times. Come on. Why? Why? I don't get it. At first, I thought, well, I'll be helpful and I'll communicate with them because maybe that will assist the sheriff in finding out who's calling in the bomb threats and the swatting calls. But I don't get it. Like, if they think I'm suicidal, so is somebody calling in making suicidal threats and then pretending to be me from a different number, but then they call my number and I'm like, hello, it's Wayne. They're like, oh, hi, how are you? I'm like, I'm fine. Like, I just paid my car insurance for 6 months. Is that somebody suicidal? Turnbuckles. Guess what I'm doing with them? Not killing myself. I'm building my fucking articulating solar panel today. I just ate lunch and I'm sleepy and I'm having a goddamn nap. And the last thing I need is the sheriff coming over. Next thing, I told her that I put a rope on my gate. She'll be like, well, can you just come out? No, I don't want to just come out. Okay. You guys can either pull up to my house and violate the law, but you're not going to make me walk down my driveway so you can violate the law. All right. So why don't you drive down my driveway, then make demands upon me that are additional violations of my constitutional amendments. Hello, it's Wayne. Hi, Deputy. I would rather not walk out. Why don't you undo the gate and come up to my home? Well, I don't want to walk. I'm live streaming right now. Like, do you understand what a violation of my civil rights this is? Why are you here? Like, literally, I was about to take a nap, so I didn't get my nap. That's why I'm cranky. I'm working on my solar panels today, and I just ate lunch. I don't know what the usual is. I'm not hurt. So if you want to check I'm hurt, then you drive up to my driveway. You know? Don't you understand how frustrating this is for me? Well, well, hold on. You guys have never once given me any updates. This is the 22nd time in 177 days. I want you to listen to me. It's been 22 times this has happened. The sheriff has showed up 18 times in person, and 11 times you're pointing guns at me. All right. I don't know that. Okay. So now you're forcing me to come out of my home without a search warrant with no probable cause. Do you understand like how confusing this is? I am okay. Well, I will come talk to you. I'm going to come talk to you because I'm so I'm more like begging you for help to catch the people screwing with me. Yeah. Yeah, I'll walk out and show you I'm okay. Do you want to come look? Like I just bought $100 of electronic equipment because I'm doing work on my anti-gravity thing, and I'm building my solar panel articulator, and I just paid my car insurance today for 6 months. That's not Amazon, but that's not the behavior of somebody who's potentially suicidal or something. Like, who's calling? All right, make sure your body camera's on, okay? All right, come on down. I'm gonna leave this streaming. Whew. Like they're abusing these deputies like pawns on a chessboard. They're wasting their time. It's not fair what they're doing to the sheriff department. She's like, well, I'm just making sure you're safe. Well, you called me. You know I'm safe. Like if they say they have to come out, don't they have to investigate why this is happening? And in 177 days, not one email from the sheriff department saying, Wayne, we got your 15 emails. Here's a status of what's going on. Instead, they drive an hour out here and force me to walk down my driveway because they don't feel safe coming down my driveway because they think I'm going to do something to them. So they're under the threat of danger. I take my shirt off so they know I'm not armed. And and plus, like I just ate lunch. I was about to take a nap and then she calls. So I'm like, I missed my nap. I'm a little tired, but I'm working on stuff. I'm trying to get my life together. And, I'm grateful that you guys are checking for my safety, but like, there's a point when this becomes ridiculous. This is 22 times. I guess they're telling me that there's a flaw in the 911 system that anybody can be perpetually abused forever. Like if I want to make a bank robbery, I just do the math. I say the city has 44 cars. So I need 44 people to call the city and make a brouhaha and have 44 police officers go in different directions. Then you could go rob a bank. So you would just need to make 44 emergency calls. And then by rules, that city has to send 44 different officers to 44 locations. Therefore, no officers could be at the bank robbery. That seems like a flaw in the system. Like they're like, but the phone number doesn't match the person at the address. They don't have that built into the system. I even said to her, I was like, the person who calls, they said that I wanted suicide by cop, but I'm like, but it's not my number. And then you call me and I tell you I'm fine, which I am. It wastes the police resources the most. That's the biggest problem, is that it's wasting police resources. Second problem is they're allowing the criminals to get away with it. We're like 5 months and 2 weeks into this, 177 days. The reason why I know precisely the day is the first day of my sobriety is the first day I got swatted. So I've got a sobriety tracker on my thing. So I don't drink, I don't smoke weed anymore. And, I'm living off grid in the desert. My life could be better. However, it could be a lot worse. So I'm doing my very best to get on my feet with the resources I have and with the mental fitness I have. And being swatted constantly is eroding my safety and security. It wastes my time. It wasted so much of my time. I wasn't able to petition the court and dispute my grandfather's will. Myself and my brother lost $400,000 each. That's huge. My grandma put in the will that my brother and I got my dad's estate. And then when my grandma died, his sister changed the will. And I didn't know this until after grandpa just died. So I've lost my opportunity to petition the court and say, I dispute this, and say, look, here's the old will. I mean, they just amended the will. So that in the beginning, they're like, but see the amendment. And we wrote out what grandma said. My grandma would be furious if she was alive. And I mean, she's turning over in her grave knowing this is going on. It's just bonkers. I'm suspicious of this person I used to date who gave me a lot of grief. They would not talk to the FBI. Yeah, you don't have to talk to them by law. However, if you want to make it a little bit easier and maybe help law enforcement, talk. That's why I'm talking to law enforcement, because I'm hoping they'll catch these people. I could say, well, I don't have to talk to you. Come back with a search warrant. do it again, and I'm going to sue you guys to kingdom come. That's actually where we're probably at. But I don't have the money to hire an attorney to sue them for negligence, for incompetence. It's dangerous what they're doing. Yeah, she's not pointing guns at me today, but they could have a rookie with them. Oh, I thought Wayne had a gun. Who knows? It's just a dangerous situation. She drove an hour. The excuse for driving out here today is because they got a call that Wayne was suicidal and wanted to die, suicide by cop. So then they drove an hour out. And then there was another California Highway Patrol there with her as backup. So even though their guns were holstered, it's still a slightly dangerous situation because they're here. Like, in Colorado, I don't know if you saw it, but some young kid, a cute boy, like 20 years old, chubby cheeks, looks like he looks like the guy at the coffee house. He was stoned apparently and got his truck stuck in the mud. There's like 5 deputies. They end up killing him. They end up murdering him. And they're on the hood of the car, pointing the gun down through the windshield. Drop the knife! Drop the knife! Maybe the dumb stoner got his knife crazy glued to his hand. We don't know. They're breaking out the windows. They're trying to tase him. But since he's holding a knife, the police are like, oh, he's holding a knife? That means I get to shoot him. It's a freebie. Like, it's a bonus. Because they escalated that situation. He called for help because he was stuck. And he was apparently under the influence of marijuana. And apparently dumber than a box of rocks. Why did he have a knife in his hand? I don't know. Why did he not roll down the windows? I don't know. So, he was just stoned out of his mind. And does that make him dangerous with the knife? No, it actually doesn't. You could have just thrown him a couple sandwiches and a bottle of water and said, sleep it off, dumbass. Or they could have dragged his car onto the back of a tow truck and taken the car with him in it and put it in the impound yard if you really had to control the situation to protect him and his safety. But they ended up murdering him. This is beyond crackers. Like, this is beyond irresponsible. Allegedly, these Colorado deputy sheriffs are adults who have training. Well, all their training is worth shit. It's just beyond belief what's going on in today's world. So this is why I'm afraid of pleasant and happy Deputy Gonzalez. She's a really nice young lady, a very professional deputy, and she was here on the first swatting call. She talked to my ex-girlfriend on the phone. And so she knows the story. She's been here on number 20 on the first, and I guess at number 22. She's like, but I've only been here 4 times. I'm like, but put yourself in my shoes. This is the 22nd time for me. So 22 times I think I'm going to die. Well, they would say, oh, that's not reasonable, Wayne, because we're professional. But, this kid in Colorado dying, he was professional. They shot him. Just makes no sense. And so since the world doesn't make sense, and since law enforcement doesn't appear to be following the law, I actually just assume that, well, I'm alive, right? But I'm fearful that they might not like me because I'm running for president. We don't like Wayne's politics. Why don't we have the new guy shoot him? When Wayne comes out, we'll freak out the new guy and say, he's got a gun, he's got a gun. And then the new deputy will definitely shoot him. Like, they could set me up. There's no search warrant. There's no probable cause to drag me out of my home. A very pleasant deputy was here 2.5 weeks ago. Friday night, 1:45 in the morning, I get a call. I'm like, well, you can come out if you want. So 2:45, he's out here. I'd eaten a chocolate bar, and I was drinking coffee, so I was super awake at night. Maybe they like me. Maybe they just want to get to know a future president. That could be too. I'm a charming guy. I'm entertaining. I was trying to tell her about gravity control, but she's like, I got to get going. I got another thing to go to. I wanted to say, well, why'd you drive out here if you got another thing to go to? I realize I can talk forever. I get it. But literally, I just bought $100 worth of supplies. Let me show you my supplies. Bunch of wire, capacitors, diodes, which look like those guys, a DC voltage power supply system, different voltage, different amps. This is super awesome. 20 100-volt transistors for my high voltage anti-gravity machine. Heat sinks. More capacitors. Big ass diodes for my solar panel array. And more resistors, 350 different resistors. Very excited. Somebody who's suicidal does not buy computer parts. It's just not reasonable. If we take this to the jury, they're going to award it was harassment. Like, for other celebrities, they'll say that these people are being harassed by crackpots. Don't drive over there. I don't mind if they call me, but they don't have to drive out, because then it wastes my time. It winds me up. I have to walk out there. I got to take my shirt off. And the whole time I'm walking, I have to worry about being shot to death. FBI and law enforcement, I hope you're reading the comments here, because there's always some asshole saying horribly inappropriate things, and they're probably the people who made the call. I posted on my Twitter, a guy in Israel phoned in 2,000 bomb threats, and he's serving a 10-year jail sentence. So he probably taught the techniques to some of these people winding up the police. I think law enforcement doesn't care, because they're like, well, we get paid anyways, and we didn't kill them. And, they get to drive an hour here, they get to drive an hour out back, then they get to sit down and drink coffee and chin wag with the other bros in the office. What'd you do today? I was out at Lambright's house. Oh, really? What was the call like? Oh, yeah. Wayne was chatty as usual. I got to write my report. It's 5 hours. What, they make $100 an hour at least? What if somebody really needed the sheriff? I don't know. I really think they shouldn't. They already have my phone number. And if that phone number doesn't make the call, then it's fake. Why don't they keep the person on the phone till they can trace the location of the caller? I just feel they're not doing enough to catch the crank callers. I was upset my ex-girlfriend would not talk to law enforcement. And then she started making fun of law enforcement. I'm like, maybe she's part of it. I don't know. I've done what's reasonable. I've been patient with them. They're frustrated. Running for president is pretty weird. I get it. Living in the desert like I'm living, I know that's weird. Okay. And I know they're like, well, what's he doing for money? He's probably selling drugs. Well, let's have an excuse to search his property. I don't do drugs. I don't sell drugs. My friend loans me some money sometimes. I'm on food stamps. I'm horribly poor. Okay. Somebody just donated $200. I was to buy this boombox for me. I quit smoking weed and alcohol so I could get a truck driving license. And that was actually the day that swatting happened. I'm trying to get my life in order, but then they keep swatting me. It's torture. It's really just, it's beyond reasonable. It's bananas. I've already proven to everybody that I'm reasonable, I'm level-headed, I'm sober. I don't think hardly anybody would be doing as good as I am under these circumstances. I thought I heard a motorcycle. There was a huge fire last night over at the solar panels. Probably one of the transformers or the battery packs caught on fire. It was really weird. It was very bright orange, whitish orange, and it wasn't spreading. That's why I thought it was like a transformer thing. I can hear cars about a mile to 2 miles away because I'm on a hill. That's why I'm like hearing things. FBI, I do hope you guys can catch them. It's going to make you look good. If I get elected, I'm going to change the laws on catching these prank callers. One of my supporters is going to be my campaign manager. So that allows me to get a bank account, and he'll report the money that I raise to the Federal Election Commission. And I'll be able to cold call corporations and say, hey, I could be a future president someday. I'm bidding in 2024. How about we have a meeting and you tell me all the things that you don't like about our government, and I can know about these things, and maybe I can make some changes for you. Maybe you want to donate. You don't have to, but they know that's what it's about. And so I think, big corporations are used to donating to political candidates. And if they don't want to, they'll be like, oh, no, we have a policy to tell you to go fuck yourself. We're never giving any money to anybody. That's fine. That's what cold calling is all about. So as I'm raising money, I've got 2 years and 2 months to start talking about how I would make America, how I would give America a bright future, starting with these swattings. Nobody should have to go through this bullshit. I might as well show you the articulator. I'll show you what I got done today. So today, I drilled a hole in the rebar. So see that screw? It's in the rebar. So this is going to be the crank to lift up the solar panels. So I'll show you where it goes in this hole here. I've got to take the bolt off to get it all the way through, but we're not going to do that right now. All right. So got the rod in there, and imagine some string on it going through the top, coming down here, and then when you crank it, the solar panel go up like this. And then I'm going to put some wheels on it so I can spin it around and have it. So you want to have it perpendicular with the sun. I'll show you the shade. I'll show you the perpendicular part. So right now, you'll see a nail. And see, so See how that shadow's changing? The shadow should be straight. See how the shadow's changing? So also the shadow shouldn't be here. If we could tilt it more this way, there should be no shadow. So what you want to do is have no shadow, and that means the panels are totally perpendicular with the sun. And that's what this is going to achieve. So this is a single axis solar panel articulator, and this is dual axis because we have the wheels. You can rotate it, and then that's a crane to lift it up. And so I think you're getting the idea of how to work. Just a weird story too. Those 2x4s from Home Depot, somebody cut 4 inches off them, and I didn't realize it when I bought them. So always check your lumber. Uh, 37. Well, that's all I got to say. I'll do a conclusion. Thanks for the professionalism of the deputy that's forced to come out here. Thank you for your business professionalism. To the management of the sheriff, they have an area for improvement, such as maybe I give them a secret password, and let's say hypothetically it's chocolate cookies, right? They're like, okay, murder, suicide, and you say, what's your name? Oh, Wayne, is it? What's the password? And they won't know the password. So I've even proposed that to dispatch when I talked to them one time, and I think she said she'd bring it up. The thing is, there's just no communication between the sheriff department and me. I've sent 15 emails at least to Deputy Investigator Barron. Not a peep back. I haven't heard from the FBI in like almost 2 months since when Anthony was out here. And then increased hostilities from the ex-girlfriend. She won't talk to me anymore because of the swatting. And she just got a substantial amount of money, low 7 figures. And I asked to borrow $5,000 and she told me no. That's very terrible behavior because I loaned her money when none of her friends would loan her money. I loaned her $5,000. And she said she paid it back in a year, but it took her 2 years to pay me back. Fine. But at the time I only had 20 grand. So I loaned her 25% of my money. She could easily loan me $5,000. No big deal. She's got over $1 million, but she's not loaning it to me because of why? Because she's a horrible person. That's why. She's not a person who's a friend. So she wouldn't talk to the FBI. Now she won't loan me money. I think she's part of this. Yeah, I think she could be part of this. It's just too suspicious. And she's always bitching about me complaining about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. They're terrible politicians. Why did she care? Why should she care? It makes no sense. Well, I'm moving on with my life. At least I'm a good friend to my friends. I help people out when they need help. I treat people the way I want to be treated. I can't say the same goes for my old friend. Regarding gravity, well, I'll probably start soldering on that in 2 weeks or so. Yeah, I'm pretty optimistic. I've got to get the solar panels going to get my electricity ironed out, and I'll probably be working on the hydrogen generator and gravity control. So since I wasn't able to get the loan, I lost my Mercedes wagon up north, and I ended up having to sell it for $1,000. So that's where the money came from for my car insurance. So I'm grateful to have $1,000, but I would have rather had my old Mercedes down here. I could have fixed it and got $5,000 for it. Oh well, that's life. You get betrayed by people. People fuck you over. At least you're not building that kind of pile of karma. Anybody investing in that kind of negative karma, they're crazy. You don't want to be around those kind of people. Yeah, I'm definitely optimistic. I mean, I'll talk more about this. Last year when I got here, I was just here. I wasn't organized. I'm not necessarily organized now, but um, I know that the heat is coming. So I've got up until April to do things outdoors, to get things organized. I know there's snakes. I killed 4 rattlesnakes. I killed 4 scorpions. And today I found a dead tarantula that big, 5-inch feet. It was, I was sweeping out the pool and there he died. He drowned. They're not, their venom is not like deadly to humans. So, and they're pretty docile. So they're more scary looking than they are dangerous. Um, but I'm learning to live with the outdoor in this, this environment. This is actually pretty mild. Like imagine living in a jungle. That would be more treacherous. So, and if I was living in a forest, there'd be grizzly bears. Like the desert, it's so inhospitable. Big predators don't live out here. There's no water for like mountain lions or bears. So there's some safety in its desolation. Yeah. Well, thank you to the FBI who are still working on this case, trying to find out who's doing it. Um, it's one of the people in my Discord, one of the people I banned. It's more than one person. It's multiple people making the calls. So I hope you're having success in your investigation. That's it for now. Take it easy.